I passed $10 million by the time I was 31. Here's how I did it, using this 7-step strategy that you can copy and adapt it the exact way you need it for your own goal. Also, at the end of this video, I'll give you a bonus that will literally help you accelerate your journey towards whatever goal you have. My name is Robert Indries, owner of a portfolio of 8 companies generating 7 figures yearly. And this 7-step strategy I have learned across 14 years of lessons and millions of dollars in failures that you do not need to repeat. So you can use everything that is in this video and any other video on this channel, copy it, make it your own. So without further ado, let's get right into it. When I was younger, at one point, I lost a lot of weight. The reason why I did that is because my entire childhood I was overweight. And then when I got to around 18 years old, I've been looking around to everyone and I saw there are so many gorgeous individuals that look amazingly fit and they're no smarter than I am. And I was like, why? Why is that? I don't understand. And so I started studying everything that was going on within the health industry, and my mind was blown by the quantity of things that I did not know about my body, about my nutrition, about everything that I wanted to do. As such, I started a training regimen that I'm not going to go into today. If you're interested in health, you can let me know in DMs. However, today we're going to talk about the side effect of what happened there, which is number one, when I would wake up in the morning, I would always go for runs, for jogging up to 10 miles. Is incredibly boring, at least for me it was. So what I did is I downloaded audiobooks and I started listening to audiobooks. Whilst I was listening, a person that I really enjoyed listening to was Brian Tracy. And Brian Tracy talked a lot about goal setting and vision and so on and so forth, how to describe your vision. I really enjoyed it because it clicked for me. It clicked that I do not have an overarching vision for my career, for my health, for my life in general. So that's where I started, and that's where I recommend everyone start. Start with the end in mind. That's step one. Look into, okay, what do I want 3 to 5 years from now? Look into every single detail that you can imagine about your future life. And then let's come back into seeing, okay, how can we make that happen? Which takes me perfectly to step number 2. This is a concept that has been studied extensively and you can do a lot of research on it. However, I'll boil it down for you right now. So you have an overarching goal, which I had following Brian Tracy's goal setting methodology. However, I was setting the goals, I was reading them, how he suggests in his books, read them every morning, feel them, feel the vibe of, the achievement of those goals and so on. And that would get me excited, but that's not enough. Excitement is not enough. You actually need to do something. So I would just be constantly confused because I had these amazing goals that I wanted to hit, but then no plan of action to actually do that. So I realized that I need to get very, very specific in what actually needs to get done today, tomorrow, next week, next month, and so on and so forth. So what I did, instead of trying to plan from today onward, I looked at the final vision and I said, okay, if that is a reality, if I truly believe this can happen, then what needs to be in place for that reality to exist? For example, if you want to be, let's say, a rocket engineer, rocket scientist, or anything, you can say, okay, what do those people know to do? Well, let's say they know mechanics, they know climate, they understand physics, and so on and so forth. So you can immediately see, okay, these are the skill sets that those people have. These are the people that those people know that they have in their network, and so on and so forth. So you can start answering the question of what does it take to be there, and then you can go backwards. Okay, perfect. So I need these, let's say 5 items that I need to know, right? Physics and so on and so forth. So let me start with physics. Let's see what's step 1. Okay, let's, for example, sign up to this course or sign up to this school or whatever you need to do, but you can see how now planning backwards, you can say, today I'm going to do this, tomorrow I'm going to do this, the day after that, the week after that, the month after that, and slowly you have an entire roadmap designed for you that you can then follow along. I go very much into detail with exactly how to plan and how to create bulletproof plans for both yourself and your business if you have a career, if you're a manager, if you manage other people. However, we do not have enough time to go into that in this video, so if you want to learn more, we have a book. It's called Unshackled, the 7 Levels of Business Excellence, and there we explain this concept and many other concepts. So after I followed step number 1, which is to have a vision, and then step number 2, which was to basically plan backwards, now I was on it every single day. Day after day after day, I was productive. All of my friends would notice. It was crazy. Everyone was like, Robert, how do you do so much in so little time? I was literally so productive. However, something happened. I kept going on and on and on. And then at one point, the days turned into weeks, weeks turned into months, and months and months and months would pass. And I would literally feel that it doesn't matter how much I work, my end vision still is not in line of sight. Just to give you an example, when I was 19, I said, by the time I'm 20, I'm going to make $1 million. Didn't happen. When I was 20, I said, by the time I'm 21, I'm going to make $1 million. Didn't happen again. And it took years and years and years to make my first $1 million. It took me 7 years to make my first $1 million. And then it took me 6 years to go from 1 million to 10 million. So you can imagine in those 7 years, how many times I had to miss deadlines. I had to change things up and so on and so forth, which we're going to talk to you in a bit. However, for now, the concept of number 3 is that I would literally just work, and it would feel like it's never ending. And so what I did instead is I said, okay, there must be a better way that is more measurable, more strategic than what I'm already doing. So I started doing research, and after several weeks of research, I finally found a little system that Robin Sharma invented. It's called the 90-90-1 rule, which basically means, this is, by the way, point number 3, that for the next 90 days, use the first 90 minutes of your day to work on your number 1 priority, right? So let's say you're in school and you have your exam period, so your number 1 priority is to nail all your exams, right? To get amazing grades. So that means in the first 90 minutes of every day, you would study for your exams. If you're, let's say, a marketing person that needs to get more leads for their business or for whatever else you want to do, first 90 minutes is, okay, let's learn marketing strategies. What else can I do today to get more conversion, generate more leads, reach out to more people, etc., etc., and then spend the rest of the day actually implementing on what you've learned in the morning, etc., etc. So anything that you want to do, you can apply for this, right? This is point number 3, which takes us perfectly to point number 4. It's crazy how many plans do not go as planned. When you are young, you believe, oh, I have the plan, I follow this course, this is what I need to do, these are the 7 steps, these are the 100 action items, I just get going and it's gonna happen. Guess what? Most cases, plans don't go as planned. And what happens then is that people fail to document feedback. For example, if I have a plan to grow my Facebook audience and I want more people on Facebook, my, let's say, action items might be to post every single day. Okay, but if I posted every single day and my audience has not significantly grown, that's feedback. That means that based on what I've posted, or based on the time or the type of content or the strategy itself of posting, might not be the one that will get me to where I need to go. That's feedback. That's real world feedback. You can get the same type of feedback from your colleagues. Let's say if you need to work with them and you try and work with them in a certain way and they get upset. That's feedback. They literally tell you either with words that, hey, don't talk to me like that, or I'm not going to do that, or they simply just don't do what you need them to do. And that's feedback. Any type of life feedback that you get in your career or in anything else, you need to document. because that will make you wiser. This is what basically can help you make better and better plans, which now takes us to point number 5. And this is something I have genuinely struggled with so many times. And I've tried doing it a million times, I feel like, and every single time I would just postpone it or do it poorly. Let me give you some context on why this is important. If you, let's say, would play basketball, right? You play a game and you have two teams and they have hoops. I'm sure you know the game of basketball, and one team puts the ball in the other team's hoop and vice versa, and they keep doing that over and over and over again. But guess what? What if there is no scoreboard? What if you don't know if this team has 50 points and the other team has 60 points? How do you play? What do you actually do? If you don't keep score, if you don't have that, and if you don't review that, then basically all of this effort feels like the time just passed and you did nothing. So point number 5 is the point where you take all of that feedback, take everything you've done until now, and then review. Point number 5 is to review every single thing that you've done. You've completed your action items, you've documented the feedback that you got from other people or from algorithms on Google, and then you have all of that, and now you can review that, right? Just like a player would review, hey, are we winning or are we losing? I need to see, because otherwise you don't know. You don't know if you're winning or you're losing if you don't review. You need to review whether that's your bank account or your Twitter following or whatever it is, and you need to see, is there more engagement or not? If there is not, or if it's not as high as I wanted it to be, then what else can I do? So you look at your action steps, because that's how you're going to know. Okay, I've done this, I've posted this, this is the feedback. So now you can very easily see that this is the building block for you to be able to go to the next step. Almost no one does this. And this is the biggest flaw. And I had this flaw so much, because I'm the type of person that likes doing. I do not like repeating myself, and I definitely hate when other people repeat themselves. When I hear someone tell me the same story twice, 3 times, 4 times, I literally after the 3rd time, I'm like, I already know the story. Please don't say it again. I don't want to be rude, but you've told me this story already 3 times. I know it by heart. I can tell it to you if you want to. Oh, well, I thought you forgot it. No, I didn't forget it. I just hate repeating things. I hate hearing something being repeated, and I hate repeating it myself. So it was very hard for me to review. However, step number 5 is crucial. And now we can go to step number 6, which is literally my favorite of them all. Imagine you are working for, let's say you follow Robin Sharma's 1991 rule, right? You work for 3 months, 90 days is 3 months, and then you review, and then you work again for 3 months, and then you review, and you work again for 3 months, and then you review. Don't you feel something's missing? There is always something missing there, and most people don't even realize it. However, this is one of the main reasons why I don't like habits. Many people talk about habits and so on, and they have a 3-hour morning routine and things of that nature. I don't like that, because it makes me feel like we're robots, like we don't think. And I don't like that. I like to think, be very conscious of what I do every single day, and I don't need to do something at the exact same time every single day for me to do it. If I really want to hit a goal, if I have a vision that motivates me, I have a plan, I have a structure of 90 days, 3 months, I get feedback, I review, then step 6 is based on that review, I make tweaks to my strategy. Every single, at least 3 months, I tweak my strategy. So let's say I have one strategy, and I tell this to everyone I work with. I like to have a deadline on every initiative. So instead of saying, hey, we're just going to shoot videos forever starting now. No, let's have an initiative. Let's call it, whatever, brand recognition, whatever you want to call it. And then give it some KPIs, give it some goals. Hey, I want to have these many new leads, or I want to make this much in sales, or I want to do to be able to play these songs on the piano if you look at your personal life, and so on and so forth. Anything you want to do, give it a goal, make it measurable. And then once you have that goal, start working on it. And then if you have or have not hit your goal, regardless, after you've reviewed, you then tweak your strategy. In the vast majority of cases, or at least what happens to me, because I'm very ambitious and I set very high goals, very high stretch goals, or BHAGs, big, hairy, audacious goals. So when I schedule those big goals into my months, what happens is that many times, on most occasions, I don't hit those. So let's say I hit maybe 80% of the goal or something like that. When I'm in those areas of, hey, I didn't hit this, what could I have done better? Then I start asking myself all of those questions. For example, did this work? Number one, yes or no? Nothing's great, by the way. It's a yes or no. Did we hit the goal or not? And so typically it's a not for us, because we don't hit the goals because they're very high. Then we say, okay, what did work and what did not work? And then you can see, well, everything we've done on LinkedIn seems to have worked. Everything we've done on Facebook seems to have not worked. Okay, well, then let's definitely keep doing this and let's change strategy here. And the moment you have this level of conversation, either with yourself or with your team, then you can come up with better and better and better strategies. Sometimes we do this per quarter, and big companies tend to do this per quarter because there's so many people involved. However, if you're a solopreneur or you're a startup, you can typically do this either monthly or even weekly. So we would have, whenever we'd have very important events that were occurring in the lives of our companies, we would do even weekly reviews of our strategy to see, hey, is this working? Even if it's a little bit in the right direction, we know it's in the right direction. If it's zero in the right direction, we immediately change strategy. So point number 6 is what has gotten me this far, because the vast majority of people do not change their strategy. And I kid you not, you know this maybe even about yourself or about your friends. They set a New Year's resolution goal. They said, I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to eat healthy, I'm going to do all of this, right? And February comes along and they stop doing half of what they said they're going to do. And then guess what? They're in a place then where they do not change their strategy. They just simply stop. They say, oh, well, this isn't for me. Going to the gym isn't for me, or I injured myself, or, it's too hard for me to eat clean, or whatever. Instead of changing the strategy and finding a strategy that actually works for them, they just stop completely. And that's when you fail. You only really fail when you stop completely. Otherwise, it's just a lesson. You got your lesson in January. Let's see, what did we learn in January? Well, we learned that I really don't like broccoli. So let's just eat something else, right? Okay, you don't like broccoli, eat something else. You don't need to eat that exact diet of whomever it is you admire online, right? If you prefer spinach, just go and eat spinach, right? If you like eggs more than something else, you don't need to be vegan 100% of the time just because that's what someone says, or that's what, whatever it is, that your best friend told you should do. I'm not saying you should or should not do anything in life. I don't believe in that. You can do whatever you want in life. However, take feedback seriously. And once you have that feedback documented, you review it, and then you make tweaks to your strategy. We tend to believe that high performance means being plugged in, online, on it, every single day, every hour, every week of the year, and so on and so forth, which is not sustainable. Every muscle needs a break. Your brain needs a break. Everything in your body is made in a duality. There's night and then there's day, right? During the day or during the night, if you're a night owl, you work and then you take a rest, right? Then you basically take as much in terms of breaks as you can. A friend of mine recently asked me, because we were talking about taking breaks, and I say, whenever I feel like I need to take a break, I literally lay down and I close my eyes and I sleep for as long as I need to sleep. I don't set an alarm. And he's like, well, what if you sleep for like an hour and a half? I'm like, well, that means my body needed 1.5 hours of sleep. Because your body knows how much rest it needs. Your body is not going to sleep for 8 hours if it doesn't need 8 hours of sleep. And it's also not going to sleep 2 hours if it doesn't need 2 hours of sleep. It's going to sleep the exact amount of time it needs. So basically, whenever I go to sleep, many times I go to bed, right? I go to sleep midday, and then I have my I almost always look at the clock before, because I'm curious how much sleep my body needs. And then when I wake up, many times I look at the clock, and I wake up naturally. I look at the clock and I'm like, oh, I've slept 22 minutes. And this has happened so many times when I sleep 19 minutes, 27 minutes, whatever. I know it's almost always less than half an hour, because that's typically how much sleep my body needs midway through the day. At the same time, you can work very intensely for 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then take a break. Take 1, 2, 3 days off during the week, I mean, other than weekends. So maybe have a long weekend of 4 days. Take off, do nothing, right? Go swim, go travel, or whatever it is you want to do. Sleep, play video games, it doesn't matter. Just turn your brain off, right? Let yourself do something else. Or if you're an athlete and you work out a lot, let your body rest. Just sleep, just lay down, just go for walks, just do things of that nature, okay? It's the same with food. It's very good to fast. I don't know if you know. You eat all the time. Every day we eat 3-4 times a day. And then it's very good from time to time to give your body rest. So taking breaks is crucial. I've done this, I've done the opposite of this so many times, and I remember times when I was literally sleepwalking, because I was sleeping just 4 hours a night, and I was just working the rest of the day, and eating barely in between work sessions. And I realized that I wasn't functioning. And now looking back at that, I realized I could have gotten much more work done in the year or in the month or in the quarter if I would have been much more cautious with my health, if I would have taken care of my mind and my body more. So this is the 7th step. Work very intensely, the first 6 steps, and then whenever you feel like you need a break, take your break. By break I mean a midday nap, or the weekend off, or every few weeks you take a few extra days off, and so on and so forth. Take frequent breaks. Now you have all of these 7 steps of the strategy on how to achieve anything you want in life. However, the only one thing I would underline is that it's not the same if you, for example, let's talk finances for a second. It's not the same if you become a millionaire by the time you're 80, or by the time you're 60, or by the time you're 40. There's a very big difference in the quantity of time it takes you to achieve the goals that you set for yourself, and I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. As such, the bonus that we have for you today is an entire separate video that talks about everything you can do to increase your chances of success in any area you want to have success in.